because you could have all of the skills, but if you walk into an interview and you're not able to articulate how you use them or why they're important or, sell yourself into a position, every interview you have is selling yourself and have all the technical knowledge. You're 10 steps ahead of every other candidate. Look at how you have all your facts straight before you record. You never want to be giving false information on the internet. And so, when I'm answering people's questions or if I'm doing videos around announcements or technology, I always make sure that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vibe It Up, the podcast where we explore the dynamic world of tech. I'm your host, Dan Tudorache, and I bring over 20 years of experience in the software development industry, wearing multiple hats as a solution architect, leadership coach, trainer, and now psychologist. Now, you might be wondering, what's the vibe all about? Well, the vibe, it's about the people. Everything the people does to create, to innovate, to put us together, to make communities, and get us to new levels. So I have with me today Alexis Bertholf. And Alexis, hello. Pretty good, pretty good. Welcome, welcome. I will let you present yourself, and I want to know what's your role now, what the current position, and what's your responsibility.
Sure. So I am a solutions engineer for Cisco Systems. I've worked here for about 4 years now, and I support about 25 customers that are located out of the Washington, D.C. metro area.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and I cover the entire Cisco portfolio. So everything from switch, route, wireless, data center, security, collaboration, Thousand Eyes, any sort of acquisition. So apparently now Splunk. Your account team is meant to be the face of Cisco, right? So if you're working with your Cisco AM or SE, generally we cover the whole portfolio and we have a team of specialists that go deeper within each technology. And I am not representing my employer, I'm representing myself. Anything I say is my own thoughts, opinions, feelings, and whatnot.
Okay, did you needed some sort of I don't know delegation from your company to be present in this podcast?
I did not ask. I haven't asked to be on any podcast before, but anything I say is not representative of Cisco. It is just of myself.
So we won't enter in any detail about their customers, anything. So it's completely safe in this matter. Okay, thank you very much for your introduction. And I wonder, there are many women in your position.
Are there, or you're asking, are there, or
Yes, yes. I'm asking. I don't know.
I think the IT field in general is about 20% women. Sales engineering is pretty representative of that. Cisco does a fantastic job supporting women and hiring diversely, so we might have a little bit more than the 20%, but I think that's on average.
Okay, okay, I see. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting because there are not many women, at least on the networking part, on the networking networks and the infrastructure part. So yeah, it's it's complicated to get and have diversity in this roles. So how did you started in tech? What university where you went for?
Yeah, so I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I studied aerospace engineering for 4 years. I always joke I was supposed to be an aerospace engineer. I did all my internships. I worked at GE Aviation, and then I worked for Boeing, and then I worked for the Navy. And every time I kind of came back to school, and I just felt like something was missing. I'm a huge extrovert. I love talking to people. And one of my friends has said, "Hey, tech sales is a thing. You could go into sales." And I was like, "Psh, nah, like I'm an engineer. What are you talking about?" And I did a little bit of research into it and found out that you do have engineers in sales that work on sales teams, especially when you're talking to large enterprises or companies that are selling B2B. A lot of times the software, the solution you're selling is so complicated, it'll take an entire team to orchestrate the sale. And within that, you have account managers, you have sales engineers, you have specialists, you have renewal specialists, you have customer care experts. There's a lot of, especially with companies that spend large amounts of money, you have, many different people that are responsible for caring for them and making sure they're happy with your product. And so that's kind of how I found out about sales engineering, interviewed at Cisco my senior year, and the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And I had a similar role of technical consultant, pre-sales, engineer, to say like that. And I know it's a tremendous work because there are multiple clients, multiple teams that you have to discuss. There are multiple solutions that you need to take care of, and so on. So I guess you're doing fantastic job there, but also the pressure is high. So how do you handle this pressure now? Because there is a lot of work. I don't know nor ask if you um, are doing overtime or how often, but I'm asking you, how do you overcome the stress and how do you find support on that?
Well, working for Cisco is really great. I am a field sales engineer, so I support customers that are in the DC area. I'm part time remote, part time in person. Really, the only time I'm face to face is if we have a mandatory training in the office or if I'm visiting a customer site. So there's a lot of great work life balance there. I'm able to kind of pick and choose, when I want to work remote. And again, it is a team effort. So there's a lot of members of my team that I work with really closely. It definitely helps to distribute the stress, knowing that you have other people in the same boat with you. Um, and it is a relationships business. I think remembering at the end of the day, like everyone's a person. You're dealing with people like this SmartNet renewals and everything like that, like are stressful for them too. So just doing your best to get ahead of conversations. Like if you know that lead times are creeping up, especially during the pandemic, not just Cisco, but a lot of companies had extended lead times across the networking industry due to the supply chain constraints during COVID. If you know that a product your customer might need is out 180, 360 days, call them early and say, "Hey, I know that you have gear that's aging. You're going to need to replace it. You talked to me about building a new building. Just so you know, this gear is going to take a year to get here. You need to order it sooner." So, the earlier that you can plan and get ahead of conversations like that, um, you know, helps relieve stress too. And that's just, part of the job is planning and looking ahead and kind of reading the crystal ball and the tea leaves of what your customers might need. That's part of being a good sales rep.
Yeah. Do you find joy in everything you do?
There's definitely parts of the job that are a little more stressful than others. I don't think anyone across the industry loves dealing with support cases. Um, on any side, I don't even think the support engineers like dealing with support cases. Um, but most parts of the job are great. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, okay, so there's some passion there, on doing things. So it's not just transactional case, right?
Great. Well, I got into sales engineering because it was for the people for me. Like I said, I'm a huge extrovert. I love meeting new people and building relationships. And, um, you know, when you're working for a vendor, whether it's Cisco or Palo or Juniper or Arista, whoever you're working for, you get, insider knowledge on like what's coming down the pipe, what's on the roadmap, things like that. And it's up to you to give your customers good advice to help them meet their goals. And so, again, you're forming relationships with your customers. You want to see them be successful and, be able to meet their goals. get promoted, look good to their managers, not have outages in the middle of the night. So, it's up to you to do your job to make sure they're making good decisions, purchasing the best product. Because again, like if they have a support case, you're the one that's dealing with it.
Yeah.
You know, so it all comes full circle.
Yeah, yeah. Indeed. And I wonder in all this part. So when you started, did you had some infrastructure experience or experience with Cisco devices or the devices and software that you are working on, or did you have trained there in the job?
So I was trained at Cisco. Again, I graduated college with a degree in aerospace engineering. I was very fortunate. I got into a program called the Cisco Sales Associate Program. It's a year-long training program for people who are early in career that is meant to take you from 0 to 100. Typically, sales engineering is a little bit of a harder career to break into. Again, because you're giving customers advice and you need all of this experience. They like you to have a lot of tenured hands-on experience. Those are typically the people that they hire. So when you're making recommendations to customers, you're leaning on your years of hands-on experience that you personally had. But because of that, there's not a lot of young people in the field. And so Cisco started the Cisco Sales Associate Program to trade or change that so that we could get younger talent in the field, part of like, changing perspective and things like that. I know IBM has a program like that as well. I think AWS does too. It's not unique to Cisco, but I did go through Cisco's program.
Okay, well, I find it interesting, and it's interesting that they invest in people to train them 1 year to be non to not be in production, and to just train. And I imagine that they search for special skills and special. Because the role is quite special, because you need engineering skills and you also need human skills, communication skills, and sales facilitation, and so on. So, um, how you're not the my first guest, which is step in sales, and the Aubrey was the name of the other guest. Said it was the best decision for him. I'm not sure how it was for you. If do you see yourself doing other thing than sales in tech?
Based on my personality, I mean, potentially being, a sales specialist or maybe even a product manager, a role that still is very peoply and touches a lot of different teams and functions, um, possibly. But especially working in sales, it's extremely flexible. Like I said, I work remotely most of the time. I'm able to meet a ton of really cool people across different companies. So I work with 25 different businesses in the DC area across retail, across hospitality, across healthcare. There's just so many different businesses. Like you always get to learn something new. It's always interesting. I don't think I'd go back.
I can imagine. And for introvert software engineer, it's quite difficult to pass on this position, because it doesn't have the personality, like you said, doesn't have that outgoing people, I don't know, talker and so on.
I think something to remember is that I call it sales engineering. The technical title is solutions engineering, right? Or like solutions consulting. You'll see it kind of solutions architect, right? Throughout the industry, they all use different titles, but I use sales engineer just so that people understand you can be an engineer in sales, right? Like I had no idea that was a thing. And so when I talk about the position, I kind of put that on my social media so that people understand that you can, even though it's not my technical title. But the role really is more of a consultant, and even if you are introverted, it's not it's not really sales. Like I'm not walking into customers like Billy Mays, you know. or like a used mattress salesman or like used car salesman. Like it's just not technology sales is not the same. And so if you're an engineer who's really passionate about the technology, who's good at explaining things, even if you are introverted, I have a lot of customers who are introverts and are more quiet. As long as you can relate to the customer in your own way and help everyone get on the same page, help explain, what they need to know about the technology, you can do the job. You don't have to be a huge extrovert or a huge people person. Like, if you just love technology and like teaching people, I think
Yeah.
that's enough.
Mm. Yeah. Awesome. And that um, my idea on this is that you need the communication skills. You don't have to be people
Yeah, you don't have to be a huge
person.
extrovert. You do need
Yeah.
communication skills. Yeah.
Yes. A- and yeah, yeah, this is the skills part that you need for different certain roles more than for others. And I wonder how it was for you at the beginning when you had that training part of starting the job, and after that when you had the first customers you went to, did you had some mentors, network support, or something that you had to go to speak to? Did you had received um, proper, I don't know, coaching in that period?
I've got a strong network of mentors that I reach out to, internal to um, internal to Cisco. Um, and we've also got our specialist teams again. I'm a generalist SE, so I support all Cisco technologies. There's also a team of specialists who focus individually per product. And so if you ever get over your head or you need help with something, because again, it's very unlikely that someone's going to be an expert in collaboration and security in data center and route switch wireless all at the same time. Um, the idea of your generalist SE is to know enough to be dangerous in each of those architectures, and then pull in your specialist to help go a layer deeper with the customer. So especially being early in career, I leaned on my specialists a lot more, which was extremely helpful. I couldn't do the job without them.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And it was it hard for you to get into this domain, this business?
The CSAT program, the interview process was very competitive. I went through about 6 interviews, 3 of
Okay,
them that were like a
6. Wow.
one day, like, full workshop. I think they said they accept, like, 0.2% of applicants, but it's a program that runs every year.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that when I applied. I found that out after the fact.
which is good. Because you didn't have that to be scared. But yeah, it's something pretty heavy, and Cisco is a big player in the um, domain, and
Yeah, but if anyone's interested in going into sales, again, you don't have to go through a program like I did. Honestly, I think having hands-on experience is the best thing that you could do if you're interested in going into sales, spending time as a network engineer, spending time in help desk, spending time working in cybersecurity, because it'll give you more industry perspective, and be able to relate to your customers better. That's personally something that I'm trying to work on now by doing home lab projects and working with my customers one off, because I never had that super super in-depth hands-on experience because I went through a training program. And again, when you're relating to your customers as a sales engineer, you're not meant to be the sales guy. You are the engineer. You're the trusted advisor. um, you're supposed to be able to talk shop and talk nuts and bolts and, tell horror stories about that one outage you had where you had to go into the office at 4 a.m. because, you know, there was an outage and you need to fix it. Being able to tell those stories will help you to build relationships with your customers faster. And you only get that through having hands on experience.
okay, and storytelling. skills. Right. Right. And I wonder how emotional intelligence, what role plays in all this picture.
I mean, definitely emotional intelligence helps you when you're building relationships with people. It's not, I don't know, talking to people. Again, I said I'm a huge extrovert, so talking to people and being friendly is something that's kind of second nature to me. But definitely when you're talking to customers, being able to read the room, catch the vibe, see how they're feeling while you're presenting or if you're talking about something, because you never want to walk into a customer meeting and be like a bull in a china shop. you know Matching someone's energy is important. Reading the room is important. Being able to tell when someone's like eyes are glazed over and they're not interested is also important. It's not just about like going in and doing your demo.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yes. Good one. Good one. And yeah, you need a lot of social skills. But what about your um, self management, self control? It's something that helps you, and in what matter, and when, especially.
I don't know if I know what you mean by that.
Okay, it's the to know yourself, know when and what triggers you, maybe sometime from your customers, and when they push the line, maybe being rude or something like that, and to
Well, you just need to, if someone's being rude, you just need to be able to separate in your head, like, this is just a job, right? Like, this is just work. They can be upset all they want. The lead times are what they are, or the data sheet says what it says. Like, no, that feature is not supported. I cannot make the product manager make this feature. No, that's not my job. You can be upset about it, you can kick and scream, you can be unprofessional, but at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. And that's the nice thing about, network engineering or, working in tech is a lot of it's black and white written in documentation. So, it is. The white paper says what it says.
hmm hmm yeah, then you basically need a lot of self-control and to be able to be adaptable and flexible in the
Well, and
same time.
just don't take it personally.
Yeah, and that too.
I mean, it's the same thing with getting, like, hate comments on the internet, right?
Mm,
I've been posting,
okay.
information technology content on TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn for 8 months
Hmm.
now, and people leave hate
Wow.
comments all the time. You just don't take it personal. It's not that
Mm.
big a deal.
Yes, and I I'm amazed by the challenge you accepted with that 100 days of posting on LinkedIn, and I think it's a good example that you give, because people in general in tech are not present on LinkedIn. I mean, present, maybe they enter, they read, but they don't actually put content. They don't share their experiences, and that's something I do with my clients. This part of being visible, right? To be yourself there for companies to see you, because as we can see in this layoff periods, it's quite harsh. Maybe when you when got layoff, and not your fault, right? To be able to be seen, and how it was for you. It was, I don't know, in the beginning and until now, this journey.
Um, it was I just picked a random day. I think it was, like, a random day in October, and I was like, "I'm just gonna do this," because I was, at that point, creating a lot of video content. I made videos first, and especially with a lot of, technology content, I would create scripts, while I was doing research because, again, with something technical, you wanna make sure that you have all your facts straight before you record. You never wanna be giving false information on the internet, and so, When I'm answering people's questions or if I'm doing videos around announcements or technology, I always make sure that I have all of my facts straight. And so I wanted to become a better writer so that I could write scripts faster to create videos faster. And the only way that you get better at writing is to write more. So I decided I was going to write more on LinkedIn, and public shaming of missing my challenge or public fear of failing has been the only thing keeping me going. So now we're on day 89, 10 days to go.
Wow, wow, that's impressive, and yeah, I admire you for that. For me, it was hard to start on LinkedIn, and I posted once in a while. I never had that I don't know that pace to be perseverant and to put each day. I mean, yeah. And in terms of networking, how much it counts, and how much you have seen the difference since you started to post on.
Um, like growing your personal network. You mean like people networking, or do you mean like IT
Yes, people
networking?
networking. Yes, social. No.
It's definitely opened doors for me. I've
Mhm.
met, more people in leadership than I ever thought I would this early in my career. And it's just about showing up and saying like, I am here. Like I am here, I am here, I am here every day. Hi, look at me. Hi, I'm here. Hi, I know this. Hi, I'm doing this. And people have such short attention spans. It's the reason why NASCAR races are one of the most popular places to put a company's logo because it goes around and around and around and around. In the same way, like, you just need to show up every single day because if someone opens their phone every single day and sees your face, eventually they're gonna remember you. And that's, part of the 100 days. You show up every day at the same time with something to say. People remember who you are.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Interesting challenge, and I'm just thinking if I will be able to do it, but
A lot
I'm
of I've been tagged in probably 6 or 7 different posts where people are like, "I'm kicking off a 100-day challenge," and 3 days later, there's no more posts. It's hard.
I
It's hard.
know. Yes, I can imagine. I mean, it's a lot of work, and to find something meaningful. I mean, you cannot just post something. Hey, hello.
Yeah, you have to show up and provide value every day.
Right, right, and that's it's that is about it, so to provide value, because just saying something, it's not it's not okay. I mean, to to follow it. Yeah, one quick question: if you were to have dinner with something dead or alive from tech industry, who would it be and why?
I always choose Nikola Tesla because I think he's one of the most recognized or underrepresented, technologists who was right there with Einstein, literally developing half the technology we use today, like the whole, AC/DC current war, and no one just ever talks about him. Like, everyone knows Albert Einstein invented the light bulb, but the actual stuff we use today, no one knows.
Yes, yes. And also on this page, on the resources page, what advice would you give for people starting in tech now, or which are the in tech but at the beginning of their career, in terms of in terms of skills, what skills they need to develop, right, and what resources they need to find and to search.
This might be slightly controversial. Um, I don't in my opinion, it doesn't matter what you know. Like, having all of your technical chops in line and knowing, the bits and bytes and your protocols and your architectures, like, having all of that straight is very important, and keep in mind I work in sales. The other half of that is being able to sell and market yourself into the roles that you want, because you could have all of the skills, but if you walk into an interview and you're not able to articulate how you use them or why they're important, or, sell yourself into a position, every interview you have is selling yourself. And, you know, marketing is the other marketing and sales go hand in hand. So if you're able to, you need to market yourself into the interview. Once you get into the interview, you need to sell yourself to close the job. Um, you need all of the right skills and knowledge to be successful in the job, but getting to that point is all sales and marketing. I mean, look at your resume.
Obvious. Yeah, and this sales and marketing basically are an umbrella under which comes different skills in terms of storytelling, communication, I don't know, social.
Right, but if you can unlock that and figure that out and have all the technical knowledge, you're 10 steps ahead of every other candidate. Look at how you found me on LinkedIn because I was marketing myself and writing on LinkedIn.
Yes,
I
definitely.
think even in this job market, I get, and this isn't to brag, I get on average 2 job offers a week, and not from recruiters, from VPs and managers that are looking to fill positions in their direct organizations.
Hmm.
Um, it's the reality of today, and it's a struggle to find a job. I feel for everyone who's been laid off or who are looking in this market because it's hard. But I really think that, the best thing you could be doing, I call it investment protection, is personal branding and making sure people know who you are, what you do, and what you're about.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Thank you. Um, where people can find you if they didn't find you already.
Um, Probably, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, so whatever your preferred form of social media is, it's the same content. I just copy and paste it.
Okay, thank you very much, and that's a wrap for today's episode of Vibe It Up. I hope you enjoyed our insightful conversation with Alexis. And before we go, I want to extend a big thank you to our guest for sharing um, valuable experience and perspective here. So thank you very much.